Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to LAyercake. It is turn 27, and this turn was actually really surprising for me, in a good way. So first of all, I hit construction level 3, which is nice. The High Throne has been claimed by Atlantis, I almost forgot their name for a moment there, who is definitely a big old death goddess. All of these are death titles, I believe. Didn't find any blood slaves again, which is like, okay, fine, that's okay, we're still rolling along. But we'll keep trying. We're getting there, slowly but surely we're getting there. As soon as I hit 50, of course, I'll begin to empower somebody else in blood. You should be researching. Why are you on defend? But here's the interesting thing. First of all, we assassinated the Daster in kind of a hilarious way. So we've got our little Vine Bros here with us, and the ninja literally just ran up, stabs him to death, and then the Holy Avenger hit one of the Vine Men instead of the ninja. So that worked out perfectly. We also had two battles, first in the Cloud Breakers and then in the Ancient Woods. Also in Lyratos, where we were going through a Patalan province. I told him about that. But so in the Cloud Breakers, I was attacked by a pack of Zayedans with two Dasters here to bless them. And this is really, really dangerous, right? Well, just watch what happens. I've got a whole pack of archers here, I've got some province defense, and I've got Weeaboo Meme Lord, and I've got my Shark Warriors. Now, Weeaboo Meme Lord is unfortunately scripted to cast Maws of the Earth, so that's what he's going to do, despite it having literally no effect on Zayedans. I think he's going to cast Maws of the Earth on these skeletons as they advance. But watch, look, the Zayedans jump in, and they get massacred. The Shark Warriors, here's what I think is happening. I haven't really checked the battle logs, but I believe what's happening is the Shark Warriors are tough enough that they're, especially with a little chaff around to soak hits, they're tough enough that they can afford to take hits. Like you can see here, you know, he has enough prot that the claw attack doesn't really hurt him. The bite attack hit him, but that wasn't enough to kill him because the Shark Warriors have, you know, 20 some odd hit points, have 28 hit points, almost 30. And so, they're capable of, and they have two attacks of their own that are pretty high damage. So they're actually really high damage. Yeah, really high damage. And so they're just tanking out the hits in conjunction with their chaff, and they're hitting back hard enough to punch through that 19 prot to really do damage. The Zayedans' first form is easy to kill, and the second form is stupid. So when they go into the Griffin form, their defense skill tanks, especially when they have a harassed penalty, but their base defense skill just tanks. Their attack skill doesn't go down, but their number of attacks goes down, and their defense skill is in the garbage. And that means that they're very, very easy for the Shark Warriors to finish off. So the Zayedans actually just get wrecked by the Shark Warriors, which as I said, I did not expect in any way. I thought Zayedans absolutely would murder Shark Warriors, and that is not, in fact, the case. Shark Warriors do quite well. You can see here, I lost a whole bunch of units. I mean, I lost a lot of units. But my Shark Warriors killed 6 Zayedans. And 7 Zayedans were killed permanently. One of them turned into a Griffin. He also lost a Daster here. A couple of my units retreated, but because this happened in the Cloud Breakers and because of the vagaries of retreat mechanisms, the survivors were not able to retreat, and so I believe were wiped out. Then the same thing happened in the Ancient Woods. I guess he guessed where I was going to go, and he sent, once again, a Zayedan hit squad to take me out. And here I have just a few province defense and 20 Shark Warriors with Ryutaro the Prophet. And watch what happens here. He's casting quickness on a couple of the Shark Warriors. The Zayedans jump in and immediately are surrounded by the Shark Warriors, and they just get stabbed to death. I mean, if we look at the unit overview, one of my Shark Warriors here did die. It was repelled, and then it got hit like a bunch of times and just killed. Killed by a lance hit, actually. Charge increased damage by 10. Otherwise, it would have lived. So some of the Shark Warriors did die, but other Shark Warriors are just tanking the hits with their high prot, and then hitting right back. And they're not, I mean, they're only hitting for chip damage a lot of the time, but they're still hitting pretty consistently. So these Zayedans, the Ziedans are getting wrecked. And I mean, like, yeah, it's not a one-for-one trade, but consider the resources involved. A Shark Warrior, I mean, if you look here, I lost 8 Shark Warriors to kill 5 Ziedans, and 3 more were turned into Griffins. So it was actually 8 kills, 3 more turned into Griffins. And then I think those ones managed to retreat, but I only see 4 Ziedans in here. So, I'm not sure what's up with that. But consider, a Shark Warrior costs me 45 gold, and it's 31 recruitment points. A Ziedan costs 125 gold and 60 resources and 46 recruitment points. So in terms of gold cost, which is what's most relevant here, a Ziedan is literally 3 times, almost 3 times what a Shark Warrior is. And I think 3 Shark Warriors will absolutely kill a Ziedan. I think 2 Shark Warriors would have a decent chance, which I did not expect. I mean, I thought they were probably going to do the best, be the best option I had. I did not anticipate that they were going to be that good, because they're actually pretty solid. Like I said, I took casualties. I definitely did, but worth it. Super worth it. So, all of my armies are now collapsing on Raga. If Raga sallies out, he might be able to stop one of these armies. He can't stop this one. I'm pretty confident. This army is fairly powerful and has a lot of magical support, plus, of course, a front line of Shark Warriors. He could kill any of these other 3 forces individually. Maybe not this one, because Weeaboo Meme Lord. With Ironskin, Temper Flesh, Weeaboo Meme Lord will be a very, very hard target. Protection 29 and taking half damage. That will make him very tough. But he could even kill Weeaboo Meme Lord again. He could take out any of these armies, but he would have to sally out with pretty much his own force. And to be honest, he only has 4 Ziedans. Now, he will be able to recruit more Ziedans this turn, but it's not going to save him. He's going to get 1 turn of recruitment, and then my army will be on top of Raga, and he's not going to be able to get out, especially because these Ziedans are a ways away. If they start moving in immediately, they can probably rescue Raga, or at least come to help. I don't know. I don't think they'll be able to actually push me off. I really, really doubt it. The army that will be here is pretty significant. Over 20 Shark Warriors, well over 100 ranged units, mainly crossbows, but with plenty of samurai archers mixed in, a few chaff infantry, and a lot of mages, including mages scripted to cast Swarm, mages scripted to do all kinds of things. And the province defense is not going to trigger gem use from me. He'll have to sally with his army if he wants to trigger gem use, because the province defense ain't going to do it. I have a free crab general here that I'm moving into the Sea of Rond. I have another free crab general that I'm moving down towards the Sea of Woe. I'm pumping out Shark Warriors and Ryujins in both places full speed, searching for magic sites there, searching for magic sites here. This little army is moving to retake the mountains of Evernight. If they run into this army, I think they might be able to do it just off the strength of Swarm, because they do have quite a bit of Swarm going on. I mean, they're going to pump out, like, a lot of bugs. Tokimochi can actually howl, which might be even more useful now that I've hit Conjuration level 5. It'll hurt him, because its fatigue cost 300, so he should cast Strength of Gaia and then howl. So that'll get wolves coming in from all sides, which will serve as additional distractions, and they may even kill the commanders, because if the Ziedans are scripted to jump to the back lines, they might be able to do that. Over here, these guys are just researching. I'm pumping out more mages and crossbows from Mictlan. I don't know why I'm allowed to recruit crossbows in Mictlan. Full disclosure. I'm not sure why that is, but I'm not questioning it. I can get heavy infantry and crossbows in Mictlan, and that makes me happy, so I'm going to do it. I can also get heavy infantry here. These heavy infantry are a little bit tougher, but these heavy infantry are a little cheaper in resources. And to be honest, 18 resources, I could spend 22 resources on an Akaoni, who is much more offensive, or I can spend resources on a heavy infantry unit who is much more defensive. The Akaoni are overall better, but they also cost a lot more recruitment points. So it's like, in terms of recruitment points spent, it's actually samurai versus heavy infantry. And samurai versus heavy infantry, the heavy infantry are much more defensive, and the samurai are much more offensive. So if I want chaff, the heavy infantry are actually the better choice. Which is sort of a sad commentary on samurai, that they're beaten out objectively by independent heavy infantry. But anyway. I've got some lightly geared assassins moving around, looking for people to assassinate. I've got Jomon assassinating someone else again. He's gained a level of experience, as you can see, from his successful assassination of a Daster. I've set him to fire for 1 round, so that he doesn't charge in ahead of the Vinemen. I want the Vinemen to go in ahead of him, or at least simultaneous. So he'll throw a Ninja Star, and then he'll go in behind the Vinemen. Actually, I'm going to set him to fire twice, and then definitely go in behind the Vinemen. Let them soak up the enemy attacks. A couple of scouts here moving into Bogarus's territory. I'm out of gold. What can I cut to get some gold to recruit a scout? Let's cut some of them and get some scouts here. So yeah, I'm going to collapse on Raga. My total siege strength here, 277, 70, so up to about 340, 360 almost, about 380 or 390. I should be able to break this fort down in about 3 or 4 turns. He does have flying units inside, but I think that increases siege strength rather than siege defense. So, like I said, 3 or 4 turns and I'll have Raga cracked. This army coming back might put a fly in the ointment, but we'll just kind of have to deal with that as it comes. I'd also like to be recruiting a scout there. I don't know if Patala is going to let me keep that province for very long here. But I wouldn't expect them to, because I plan to be going to war with Patala pretty soon. Patala is fighting with Marignan. Marignan has a Patalan fort under siege. Patala has a Marignanese fort under siege. And Atlantis has Marignan's capital under siege. So Marignan, I think, is about to go the way of all the earth. Which is fine, kind of. I'm not a huge fan because it means Patala is growing ever more powerful, but I have prevented Patala from taking Raga, and I'm going to take it myself. And the Shark Warriors will be coming for Patala very shortly. The other possibility, of course, is Agartha here. I do want to carve off at least this much of Agartha for myself. Arcosafale is fighting Agartha over here. My scouts have eyes on this Agarthan fort, but not Agartha proper. So I'm not entirely sure how this war is going. This is an army from Underspring that is moving to reinforce. Now is absolutely the time to backstab Agartha, if I am looking to backstab Agartha, especially with Shark Warriors, of which I will have several in a couple of turns. 30 or 40 Shark Warriors would be able to take this fort, probably. It would take them a while, because even though they do get 3 siege strength each, they're still not very siege strength efficient. But overall, things are going great. The only, fly in my ointment here is that my air gem income is still pitiful. I would like more air gems. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be spending water gems to cast Voice of Tiamat, as I've talked about before. Despite the fact that these places have been searched pretty heavily, I am going to cast Voice of Tiamat just to make absolutely sure I'm not missing anything. And then once I move into Patala's Lake, I'll cast Voice of Tiamat down there as well. Patala continues using war elephants really, really heavily, which is interesting. It's not a choice I would make, but if it makes him happy, then, go for it, dude. And, of course, I do now have a border with Bogarus. So, Bogarus is actually fairly large, I believe. I don't know where their capital is exactly, but it's up here somewhere. I'm trying to find it with my scouts. To see exactly how big they are, but they've also gotten underwater with the Rusian national summons, and they've got a fort up here. So they're not small. Bogarus is a fairly decent power, and since they are a late-game blood power, I'm a little bit worried about that. I don't like... This is Nasajin, who is my partner in the Disciples of YouTube game. So I like Nasajin, he's a great guy and all. I just don't like Bogarus having all this power. If we look at thrones, he doesn't have a throne, But I bet he controls this throne, because I doubt Ulma does, and I think he probably has all this land. So that's worrisome. But regardless, I am definitely it's definitely going to be Patala next, because I have 2 borders with Patala. I enwrap them, actually. The 2 of us span the globe, as it were. And with my Shark Warrior posses, I'll be able to fight them underwater, and in fact destroy them underwater fairly simply. They can't bring their war elephants underwater, they can't bring most of their mages underwater. It has to be all Nagas, and I don't think their Nagas can compete with my Ryujins and Shark Warriors. So, I'm definitely going to fight them because I want their land, or rather their ocean. So that will be the plan. The plan after Raga is conquered, actually probably simultaneous with Raga's conquering, the plan will be to besiege Underspring and take Rotmarsh. Tsunemori should move into here. Actually, Tsunemori should move... no, Tsunemori should move on over here. And then we will assault Patala as well. Agartha, I anticipate, is probably going down. I mean, when you lose a fort in your cap circle, that's a very, very bad sign. And it looks like he is going to lose that fort. I don't think he can stop these Archocephalian stacks unless he has a wicked Doom stack built up in Agartha proper. Man also looks like they're kind of going to opportunistically backstab, which can't really blame them for, but we'll see how that works out. Overall, I'm really, really happy with the position I'm in. I am doing very, very solidly. That Alpha Strike with the Ryujin managed to take a huge chunk of land and give me a huge chunk more income, as well as, of course, resources and gems, too. I've gotten actually several, at least 2 death gems. 3 death gems per turn. So I'm into death now. If I can find a death mage, I can start doing something with it. I also have Shamblers over here. I'm going to build a fort here because I have the Great Iron Mine that gives me a whole bunch more resources. So building in this province will, it'll cut resources to Kamiya, but building over here will allow me to pump out Samurai and Samurai adjacent troops next to Patala. So that will be for next turn. Yeah, and that's about all that's happening. Other than that, just searching for sites with a few people, still blood hunting with Norihisa. Hoping to grab a few more slaves here. I need to get up to 50, but probably before I hit 50, I'm going to hit construction level 4 next turn. My next thing is I have to figure out what I want my research to be. And that's an excellent question. Thaumaturgy level 1 would be good. In fact, going up to Thaumaturgy level 3 would be good, because Sailor's Death is a pretty good spell that my Ryujin can cast. It is magic resistance negates, but it's a lot like Bone Melter. It's on MR negates save or die for humans in a square, in an area of effect. It's not as good as Bone Melter, but every Ryujin can cast it. So let's go up to Thaumaturgy. Yeah, let's hit Thaumaturgy level 3. Then after that, I'll probably go down Enchantment. Or actually, I have Conjuration 5 now, so I can contact Daitengu as soon as I build up the air gems. That'll probably take a while. More immediately relevantly, I can summon Ujigami, who are basically holy and self-blessing thug chassis. Now, I don't have a good bless, so that's not terribly relevant. I can contact Nushi, which are death mages, and I can contact Kaijin. That takes a lot of water gems. I need a lot of water gems. I need to get up to Conjuration 6 so I can contact Kitsune and Kenzoku as well. So let's do Thaumaturgy, and then probably... Oh, I'd like to have some Evocation. Acid Rain is a great spell my Ryujin could cast. Gifts from Heaven is one that I could make good use of. But let's get Alteration level 6. I've got Maws of the Earth, actually, already. Let's get Alteration level 6 for Manifest Vitriol and Wave Warriors. I need Construction level 6 before Manifest Vitriol becomes really efficient. But we'll grab Thaumaturgy, Conjuration, not Conjuration 6, Alteration 6, and then Construction 6, I think is what we'll do. Yeah. Because then these guys, if I give these guys a water booster of some kind, they can spend the rest of their lives just making green lines, as far as I'm concerned. And even Fire Random Ryujin could do the same thing, and I'll be happy. I think it's only the two that I have. I think it's only Tanaka and Tsunehira. Oh, nope, I've also got Fujitaka. So let's move well, no, let's leave him to research for right now. But if I could be pumping out 3 or 4 green lions per turn, I need a lot more water gem income to make that a reality, but if I could be doing that, I would be super happy for it. Let's cast Voice of Apsu, which is the water sight searching spell. Well, no, let's not actually, because as soon as I free my Ryujin up, Ryujin can fly around sight searching very, very efficiently for level 3 water, which is all I will need to find the vast majority of water sites. So that's what I'll do. It won't cost any gems to do that, it'll just cost Ryujin turns. And so 2 or 3 of them could be flying around sight searching every province I have for water level 3. While the rest complete the destruction of Raga. So, thank you all so much for watching. Really appreciate all of your attention and support and all of that. And I will see you in turn 28. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to LAyercake, turn 28. First of all, Raga has sent me a message congratulating me on being close to having the capital. He may have sent this to everybody. This may be an effort to turn other players against me, which is fair enough. In other news, Patala's player has let us know that he's actually having to go on a business trip in a couple of days, and so we're going to have to find a temporary sub for Patala. And I really, really hope we can, because having Patala go AI or not be playing at this stage in the game would be terrible. That would just be gross. Especially because I'm going to be fighting Patala soon, and I really would like them to be, you know, there to do things about it. Other news. In Loreborough, we defeated an attacking force from Raga of Griffins and Zeddens, and oh boy, it's kind of hilarious. So look at this, look at this. We've got all these Zeddens back over here, right? And over here we've got my province defense and one, count 'em, one samurai archer with a longbow. And they're moving up, they're moving up. He's blessing the Zeddens. Arrow of Destiny! The very first arrow fired. Just one shot. Hit him, it must have hit him in the head, and just instantly killed him. Yeah, because he has 11 hit points, and that does 6 damage. That one samurai archer, oh my god. The hero of the hour. Woof. Wow. That was a thing. And then, of course, that's all the leadership, so they all rout. They all just rout. Good job, single lone samurai archer. You you really took one for the team. If you just heard that, I'm sorry. I had to screenshot this for posterity. A 360 no-scope headshot from the samurai archer. I'm going to find that samurai archer. I'm going to cast Gift of Reason on him and make him a named commander and give him a magical bow. I swear to God I'll do it. That was great. I assassinated another Daster. I did lose my ninja in the process. He brought an area archer with him, which is, you know, reasonable. Reasonable precaution. The Vinemen killed the Daster, and then the Holy Vengeance killed the assassin, so, you know, it happens. Too bad, because that was working really, really well. But, so we got another mage, so we traded one ninja for 2 mages, which is absolutely worth it. We did lose the Oaklands. That was raided away from us by Raga, and in Raga itself, we took the province away from very, very minor province defense. So you can see we're casting all our spells. I don't think this province defense is going to activate, yeah, it's not activating gem use. Look at those arrows. The crossbowry is real, as is the lightning. Unfortunately, we suffered the perennial problem that Tengu have here, which is that, here, watch, yup, That's the problem. The Tengu fly into the rear, and then the crossbows murder everything. Like I said, Tengu are fire and forget missiles. You just have to be used to the idea that this will happen. Still got 13, so they can still do some work. In the Mountains of Evernight, my army took out a small group of Zeidans that had moved back in. Once again, did lose a couple of Tengu for the same reason. Both of my Tengu in this army were killed. But totally worth it. This time we did activate spellcasting because of the Zeidans, and the Swarm worked just like I hoped it would. So Swarm and Howl, we just buried the Zeidans in garbage. We destroyed their armor, so their protection was very low, and we just drowned them in bugs. And so we managed to kill 3 of them. 2 of them were back here on Guard Commander, and so they got away. Now, that did use up pretty much all of our gems, but it did kill the Daster and those Zeidans, so worth it. Plenty of battles we got to see between Agartha and Potala here. First of all, Agartha sallied out of their fort in the Chilad Caverns. So Agartha has his blind fighters. He's got some iron corpses in the middle. He's got a bunch of entrance guard, which are dark vision elite heavy infantry with a castle defense bonus of 2. So they count as 1.5 people defending castles. He also has a number of cave knights, which are an interesting choice. Personally, I don't think cave knights are all that worth it, but anyway. And then he's got a whole bunch of Agarthan light crossbowmen in the back. On the other side, Arcocephale has a much bigger army. Primarily hoplites, decent deployment of Ajima companions, some Cerulean warriors holding the center, and then a lot of crossbows, like really a lot of crossbows. Plus, in the very rear, a line of mystics, all of whom are carrying either gems or items, I think. He's got 1 priestess, 2 priestesses, once again carrying Boots of the Messenger and endless bags of wine, so he's keeping this big army supplied by those methods. He's got a Phalangite commander, a couple of independent commanders, looks like 5 independent commanders. This army will be super vulnerable to the Tengu attack, because all their stuff is in the back, and I'm sure they're doing that because they know Agartha has no way of executing that kind of an attack. Agartha, leadership and magic-wise, has a Chthonian Necromancer, a Chthonian Alchemist, another Necromancer there, and a Servant of the Oracles. So basically, this battle is decided by crossbowry. The various crossbows on both sides are firing, and Arcocephale is going to cast Flaming Arrows, which gives their crossbows a distinct advantage, plus they have more of them in the first place. So, the infantry collide. Agartha does have some Shard Wights, which are pretty solid troops that do a lot of damage. He also has his Fire Elementals, but Arcocephale just has more troops and more crossbows. And unfortunately, Agartha's crossbows are kind of shooting their own infantry to an extent. So, a lot of hoplites are killed or routed, but, especially by the blind fighters down over here, because of the penalties that they have in the darkness, their attack and defense are both quite low, whereas the blind fighters do not suffer any penalties, and the entrance guards suffer only -1. So infantry-wise, Agartha's doing quite well, but there's just so many crossbows that the blind fighters actually break through and are then massacred by flaming crossbow fire right through their shields and armor. They manage to get into the crossbows and cause a little bit of damage before they are routed, but over here the cave knights charged in, did a little bit of damage, and then the knights were all killed and the cave drakes proceeded to flee. And the Agarthan army is now getting off the field. So that was basically a crossbow war. In terms of casualties, Agartha lost a Servant of the Oracles and their Chthonian Alchemist, and then they lost about 2/3 of their army. Arcocephale also took quite heavy losses, however, they had more troops to start with by quite a bit, and they didn't lose any mages. So they lost almost all of their cavalry, most of their Cerulean warriors, not many crossbows at all, but about 2/3 of their hoplites. More than half of their hoplites. Let's call it half. The crossbows did the vast majority of the killing. The hoplites also inflicted some casualties. But overall, yeah. Worth noting, the Arcocephalian crossbows did score quite a bit of friendly fire, because look, they took 121 casualties. All of Agartha combined only inflicted about 70 casualties or so. Something like that. 10, 18, 22, 30, 43, 77, 80. They inflicted 80 casualties, so at least 41 of those kills were actually friendly fire. He then proceeded to assault the fortress in Chilad Caverns. Fairly straightforward battle. Once again, largely friendly fire from the crossbows. The crossbows actually inflicted quite a bit of friendly fire on their own hoplites. You can see here they took 15 casualties. The enemy only killed... Well, I mean, I guess the enemy killed 14 units, but that has to include some cerulean warriors and some crossbows and such as well. In fact, let's see how those crossbowmen died. I'm not certain how that happened. Oh, from the Agarthan light crossbowmen on the walls, I'm sure. Yeah, that looks like it. Yep, more flaming arrows going in. So how many fire gems did he bring? That guy was pushed forward. Looks like he's out of fire gems after that, but of course he's taken the fortress, which should have a lab. So yeah, the Agarthan entrance guard just moved forward. The crossbows did score some friendly fire on their own hoplites there, but there was nothing left in the fort. So Chilad Caverns has fallen. There was also a battle in Palia, which is another of Agartha's forts here, where a similar but much smaller army with no magical support, primarily composed of cerulean warriors, went up against, I believe this is just really, really heavy province defense. And now Agartha's province defense is pretty solid, just because their infantry is pretty solid, and of course it's in a cave. So, they didn't do all that badly. You can see here the Ajima companions got caught up on some of this heavy infantry, and did start suffering a little bit. The Archocephalian infantry, however, managed to slug it out. Cerulean warriors are no pushover, and neither are hoplites, to be honest. In large numbers, with that high protection, they're very, very tough. So it was just a slugging match. The hoplites managed to win it. The Ajima companions came in and flanked. Some of the cerulean warriors did get off the field. Actually, a lot of them did, just because Agarthan units last so long. But overall, that was definitely another victory, albeit a Pyrrhic one. You can see this was all province defense, and it was a lot of province defense. This is at least 20, probably something like, I think this is 26 points of province defense. But, I mean, they did kill 42 units, including about half of the cerulean warriors and 13 hoplites. They didn't kill many of the Ajima companions. So, not worth it, but did inflict some casualties. Yeah, that's about all that's happening there. In Sylvania, Independence attacked Ulm and lost to province defense, because it was just vine men and vine ogres. In the Great Mountains, these sea dogs attacked Patala and won. And it's kind of funny how they won. This is one reason why I don't like relying on war elephants past early expansion. Watch what happens here. Sea dogs are not strong units. They're weak. They're low protection, low defense, moderate attack, only one attack, undisciplined animals with crappy magic resistance. But, so here's what happens. The militia and the elephant and all go in. The elephant gets ahead first. The elephant gets just bitten to death, because elephants, of course, have garbage protection, especially when harassed, and garbage defense, rather, and low protection. So the elephant dies. Well, the elephant, if you look at the HP on the field, the elephant is a very significant fraction of it. I mean, light infantry, these guys are all 10, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 90 HP, 12 from the Atavi chieftain. These guys have routed because they have very, very low morale. And when you see, and they're in a small squad, and small squads have to take morale checks when they see somebody else die, and they can't just run away. And this one has battle fright, which doesn't help. So those three are 18 hit points each. That's another 40 plus the 60 some of the elephant that died. As soon as they take a couple more casualties, the whole army HP routes. The light infantry and all they just run, despite the fact that they had a mage here. Now, the Independents also routed, but not this guy. Not the leader. The leader did not rout. So the Independents win by default, because they killed the War Elephant, which had 64 hit points, and just a few other units, and those light Bandar archers ran away. Kind of hilarious, to be fully honest. I lost a scout in Ozandius, which is fine, I expect that. In Jomon, I got some nature gems. In Mountains of Evernight, I got 400 gold, and in Loreborough, I got another nature gem. Growth has increased worldwide from the Throne of Gaia, which is nice. And I've researched construction level 4 and thaumaturgy up to level 2. However, man has cast Mother Oak. So, that's a little upsetting. Given that my current total resource income, total gem income, is like 20 or something, it's a little frustrating that somebody else has Mother Oak that gives them plus 10. But, you know what, it'll be okay. So, these raiding parties have more or less been neutered. In Oaklands, he has the Turin Shah, and he had 5 griffins total. Now he has 8, which may be the retreat guide, the retreat from here. There's one Zayedin here who I think is alone. So what I'm doing is I'm moving these guys with these troops to attack. And the reason why I'm doing that is because these mages are all scripted to cast Swarm and Armor of Achilles, which should be enough, I think. Casting out, just crapping out that many bugs, and then destroying the armor of the Zayedins should be enough to take out a few Zayedins and Griffins, especially since they can't bless themselves, because they don't have any priests left, because I've killed all of their mages. All they have is this, well, they have this Turin Shah. I tell a lie, he can bless them. He doesn't have great odds of getting all of them, especially because the Griffins will fly in without any bless at all, but he'll get some of them. But you can see that Griffin just flew away without being blessed, so he's only actually blessed. Well, I guess he did get this Griffin. So that Griffin is blessed, that Zayedin is blessed. He's trying to cast it a third time, but I think they're going to attack before he gets to. Oh no, they're all on guard commander. But even so, look at that. He only actually blessed one of them. He got that one. He got that one. Okay, so he blessed himself and 2 Zayedins plus the Griffin. Or is he just casting Blessing 5 times? Okay, well, he's going to get attacked by bugs in the middle of this, this script. Like, the flying bugs will start harassing them, and he'll probably be stopped from casting Blessing that many times. And he had to cast Bless 5 times. Did he get them all this time? Yeah, I think he got them all. I think he did finally get them all, but it took him like 4 castings to get them all. So yeah, I think the Swarm script can get those guys. I am also moving this army without any gems to take this province, and I am sending Masari with gems to back them up. So he'll be casting Swarm, the rest of my mages will just be casting regular spells, the priests will serve as fodder, and of course the infantry and other troopies will do their very, very best. I think even if he moves all these guys up here, I have a pretty decent chance of taking them, so I should be able to annihilate this group pretty well. If he moves over here, I should put some province defense there, by the way. If he moves up there, he'll probably have a decent shot at winning that fight. What am I saying? He'll have an extremely good shot of winning this fight if he moves up there. He'll absolutely win it. But if he goes that way, then he has to go here in order to try and get around to Raga, so at that point I can cut him off. My army besieging Raga is going to sit there and keep doing that for a couple of turns. Weeaboo Meme Lord has 21 hit points. I did not realize the penalty was going to be that serious. I am going to move him away immediately. These archers have to go to somebody. Let's give you some archers, and let's give... Who else has archers? You some archers. Okay. Weeaboo Meme Lord, it is time for you to leave. Yeah, you... ooh, boy. Oh, baby, I'm glad I noticed that. Why don't you just go away and search for sites somewhere? My research is actually pretty dang good. For turn 28, 504 research points is acceptable. I am going to move... I renamed this guy Masturbator because, look at him, he's... Peak performance. That's peak Jomon right there. Absolutely. 100% top-level Jomon. One path in everything. Oh, God, it's so good. Oh, it makes me so happy. Oh, I love it so much. So, yeah, he's going to move over here to search for magic sites. We're going to search there for magic sites. We're going to search everywhere for magic sites. You're searching for magic sites. You're moving around. You're moving around to search for magic sites. My scouts are sneaking around. All kinds of cool things happening. I would be trying to assassinate the Turin Shah, but let's be real. Trying to assassinate a Turin Shah with this guy is doomed to failure, especially because That particular Turanshah has mad experience, so his stats are actually much higher than this. I think he has 3 or 4 stars, so his defense skill is actually like 19 or 20. And his attack skill is also very high. I would need a pretty thoroughly geared ninja in order to take him out. That said, I have been very happy with how well my ninjas have been doing so far. They have been dying, of course, but they've been trading for mages very effectively, which is absolutely what I want to see. Masamori with the Scepter of Authority is going to just move away. Honestly, I could do worse than giving the Scepter of Authority to a commander. Just for more leadership. Ryutaro doesn't need it because he has tons of leadership already. Now let's keep it with the assassin. I want to see him set people on fire. Setting people on fire during assassinations is a nice trick. I would definitely like to build a fort here. I've been talking about that for several turns now. I just haven't been interested in lowering my recruitment enough to actually do it. Next turn, when I'm not paying for Ryujin, should be able to get it started. In terms of politics, I think everything is pretty much staying where it was. Bogorus, I have found Bogorus's capital over there. Don't know how big they are exactly. They do have this. I would anticipate they have at least a couple of these up here as well, and then probably over here. Need to keep moving my scouts in to find out what I can find out. They've got a pretty decent pile. This is an army that was fighting Raga. I think he's probably going in against Ulm at this point, which is fine. He can do that. That would be just peachy keen. You, sir, and you, sir, you all need to sneak around a little bit more. Getting pretty good scout coverage at this point. I can see most of the world. The only place where I can't see at least flags is over here and right here. So I need to get a little bit more scout coverage in those areas. But overall, I'm happy with my vision. I'm happy with my position. How many provinces do I have at this point? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 26 provinces. Not bad. Not too shabby at all. And I have 2 capitals. I'm about to take Raga in a couple, 3 turns here. And that will give me 3 capitals, which will be pretty solid. Now, here's a question for the ages. Do I actually have an heir to Master Shugenja yet? No. I don't believe I do. Okay. That's fair. Well, we will keep churning them out until we get one. It's an academic question so far because my heir gem income is god-awful, so I can't actually summon any Dai Tengu even though I would love to do so. And of course, I've been spending my air gem income on quills so far. But regardless, I have actually pretty good fire income, oddly enough. And I would love to have more water gems as well. And my nature gem income is reasonably healthy. But I just need more gems in general. I need to do more site searching. A lot more site searching. And I need to find a lot more stuff because it's time to gear up. The war against Patala will hopefully be relatively low intensity. And Agartha, I'm just going to freaking just carve some provinces off here. Like, I'm not going to bother quite going to war with them, but they are absolutely on their way out at this point. So, I don't feel bad about stealing a little bit of land when it's there to be stolen this easily. Why are you guys just sitting there? Sneak around. Go do something. Be productive. Help out the motherland. Kanaki is casting Voice of Tiamat at the Sea of Rond, and then he'll cast it here. And then we'll go into White Lake, and we'll take those provinces and cast it there. Masari is, of course, moving. I'll have 2 more in 2 turns. Tokimichi is hanging on. He's got 10 Shark Warriors. I'm going to build up a couple more turns worth of Shark Warriors, while Aichi gets down here to pick up all these Shark Warriors. I have 10 sitting around. I'll have another 18 or 19 total. Then we'll take those over and probably go for Underspring first. Underspring will take a while to siege down, but I definitely do want to take these provinces. I imagine that Man is going to take Pastena. I picture that's what he's going to do. If I was him, that's absolutely what I would do. But, yeah. We'll grab this, we'll grab that. Probably push Patala back here. There's another fort in this province. So hopefully push Patala back here. And maybe take that lake if I'm being optimistic. Boy. If I could take provinces without permanently declaring war on a nation, I would love to do so, because what I would really like to do in the ideal world would be take these, take that, take these, and then go to war with Bogorus, because Bogorus is going to be really dangerous in the late game. Because they have really good blood magic, and if I take this lake, then I'm close enough that I can just harass Bogorus endlessly. Now, Bogorus is underwater up here, as I mentioned last turn, so that's a little bit concerning. He's probably been summoning some of the national Rusian summons that he has access to get underwater with. Which is fair. He wants to be able to play in the water, given that Jomon is in the water in a big way, and, of course, Atlantis is in the water in a big way. But we will burn that bridge when we come to it, as I like to say. For now, of course, we're completing the destruction of Raga, taking over this capital, and then our limited objectives are going to be basically kind of expanding eastward. At some point, we are going to have to fight Arcocephale here. I don't know where anybody else is in terms of research. I think I'm doing pretty well. That may just be me feeling that way because normally I do badly in research, and this game I'm not necessarily, but I see him casting flaming arrows in combat. I have 2 level 5 researches. Flaming arrows is level 4. He might be shooting for something higher up in thaumaturgy. That would not be unexpected, given that he is Arcocephale. But I don't know. I really, really don't know. There's Gifted Reason. Anyway, I still have a ways to go before I do anything too terribly dramatic there, but the Ryujin are definitely going to help. Poor Yoshi. He's trying so hard, but he's going to die in just a couple of turns. He might die. He may well die before I actually manage to siege down Raga, sadly. Oh dear. Alas, poor Yoshi. You gave it your best shot. I do have construction level 4, but the Miraculous Cure-All Elixir, of course, requires Nature 5, which I don't have, and 40 gems, which I don't have. So, that's not happening. That's one of those things that isn't going to happen. If I can get... I would need Thaumaturgy level 4 and a Nature 4 mage, which also I don't have. I had a Nature 3 random, didn't I? Didn't I have a Nature 3? Yes, I have Kintoki. So theoretically, if I get the Nature Gems, Kintoki could forge a Thistle Mace. 3 to 4 is 700 research points. Does level 4 give me anything else? It gives me the other distance sight searching spells. And Prison of Fire. Yoshi is definitely not worth anything as a thug, because he's crippled. Oh, he's crippled. Map move minus 75%. He can't even get there. He's map move 8. Yeah, he's done for. Well, sorry, Yoshi. I was thinking, like, well, if I have him forge a Thistle Mace, and then I alchemize just a few nature gems, I could get him, in 2 turns, he could cast Cure Disease, which would save Yoshi. But since Yoshi is crippled, Yoshi cannot get to where he is, and he would have to spend both of those turns down here in Sleepy Wolds. Or at least he'd have to spend 1 turn, forge a Thistle Mace, then move up here. And it wouldn't work out. Boy, that sucks. Sorry, Yosh. You're doomed. I'll forge a Thistle Mace. No, because there's no nature 3s up here. Only nature 2. Well, that sucks. Could forge a... Isn't the Ring of Regeneration level 4, or is that level 6? I guess that's level 6. I thought it was level 4. No, there it is, Ring of Regeneration. I could forge a Ring of Regeneration, because he probably has I'm gonna get 2 actions with him, and then the third he's going to just die. So if I crack Raga this turn, which I won't, because if I can give him a Ring of Regeneration, that will keep him alive. It won't solve the afflictions, but it'll keep him alive. I'll want Rings of Regeneration anyway at some point, so let's do this. Let's move Yoshi down here. Then we'll move him here to Kamiya. Next turn, we'll forge a Ring of Regeneration. We'll have to do a little bit of alchemy, but we'll do it. And we'll put it on him in Kamiya. That will prevent him from dying to the disease, so I'll still be able to use him to cast spells. It won't save him from the afflictions, but it'll at least keep him alive until I can research Thaumaturgy level 4 and cast Cure Disease on him. And if I get a Nature 2 if I get a Nature 3 over here, then I'll be able to cast it on him. So, Kintoki, why don't you start trekking over there? Oh, okay. You can get there in 2 turns. That's fine then. Ooh. Well, can you get there in 2 turns? You have map move 16 and mountain survival, but not forest survival. So, forests are 10, plains are 6. That's a plain, that's a plain. I think you can, if I've counted right. What's the key to show map move? There's a key to show map move costs, I know there is. Map filters, unit orders. Damn it, I could have sworn. If I... Okay, so... I could have... Shoot. Yeah, he can make it. He can make it. All he needs is a Thistle Mace and the Cure Disease spell. The afflictions are going to be a serious problem because half the point of the Ryujin is that they move super fast, but he's probably just going to die from afflictions, to be honest. You know what? It's relatively low investment. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to try and save him. I think I can save him. I'm not going to research Thaumaturgy level... Well, I will research Thaumaturgy level 4. Then Alteration level 6, and then... I forget what I was researching after that. Well, I'll redo it. I literally saw it 2 minutes ago, and now I forget. So I'll reset it. I'll go back, look at the video, and reset it in the future here. But for now, that's going to be the plan. I need, in order to build the Thistle Mace, I need 10 gems, so I will forge that next turn. Actually, because I'm going to hit Thaumaturgy level 4, Thaumaturgy level 3 this turn, that'll get me more than halfway there. Thaumaturgy level 4 the same turn he moves into Kamiya. So we'll see. Next turn I'll make the call on whether I am researching or on whether I'm forging the Thistle Mace or the Regen Ring. Either will save Yoshi's life in the short term, and then the Thistle Mace will let me cast Cure Disease and save it permanently, but the Ring of Regen will keep him alive. So we'll get it straightened out. It'll be fine. So, that's the turn. I've got all my scouts moving, everything's good. Recruiting samurai archers here in Jomon. I'm not really recruiting infantry above ground anymore because I'm just using Shark Warriors for infantry purposes. There's not many of them, but they're by far the toughest infantry I have access to. So it's all archers and crossbows, baby. Plus, if I need chaff, I can always just cast Swarm a bunch of times. Swarm works perfectly well as chaff. So, thanks for watching. I will see you all in turn 29.